struggle to preserve or change history in America and presidents who served. Men are not perfect. The North won the Civil War. I think few can argue there were great men on both sides. Men who sacrificed on both sides. I, for one, wish no man or woman to be a slave. The American Indians I have the utmost respect for. Both sides suffered with massive cruelty as the white man took over their land. A lot of wrong has been done. However, this is not just something people have experienced in the last few centuries. The earliest civilizations, along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia, the Nile in Egypt, the Indus Valley of India, and China's Yangtze River Valley, had slavery. The earliest known systems of laws, the Hammurabi Code, recognized slavery. The percentage of slaves in these early civilizations were small. Male war captives were usually killed. Women were enslaved as field laborers or concubines. Only a handful of societies made slavery the dominant labor force. The first true slave society was ancient Greece between the 6th and 4th centuries. In Athens during the classical period, a third to a half of the population consisted of slaves. It is not an accident that our modern ideas of freedom and democracy emerged in a slave society. Slavery never disappeared from medieval Europe. While slavery declined in northwestern Europe, it persisted in Sicily, southern Italy, Russia, southern France, Spain, and North Africa. Most of these slaves were white, coming from areas in Eastern Europe or near the Black Sea. My point is, there aren't many people, regardless of race, that didn't have some ancestry down the line that weren't slaves. So now that we are the great melting pot because time, generations of immigrants have melted together and cultures have been abandoned and people have totally assimilated into American society, does that mean we should try to sweep everything under the rug? Should we tear down Mount Rushmore because two of the presidents were slave owners? Which frankly at the time was not uncommon. Roosevelt had a long history of animosity toward indigenous people, and Lincoln's focus was unity more than slavery. But slavery stood in the way of unity, and many people suffered, and others knew in their hearts it was wrong. That's why we as a people affected change. We learned freedom was a sacred God-given right. We became more cultured. We became Americans. So I say it again. Do we need to sweep history under the rug? There are lots of things in this world that shouldn't have happened. The Holocaust shouldn't have happened. Many wars shouldn't have happened. When you were a child, did you learn by only being aware of the good? No, you learned from the bad. Perhaps even more, for it made you appreciate the good. People and animals have mind and spirit, but only people have will. To err is human, to forgive is divine. Let's learn from history. Let's preserve history. If everything that someone called racist from books, statues, movies, etc. were erased, and we lived in a utopia, does everyone think people would be more nice and decent? I as a child was spanked, not beaten, but spanked. It's how we learned right and wrong. Granted, if a child learns best by taking his phone or game platform away, then it's got my vote versus spanking. But still, it's a part of growth. Karma is a bitch. You sow hatred, you will reap hatred in this world. It's guaranteed. If you look for bad in others, that is what you will see. If you give up and mistrust others, then why should others trust and not give up on you? Don't erase history. Learn from it. Preserve it. It was different times. Move on. I, for one, never realized the importance of history until I was an adult. But by bearing witness to things like the Holocaust, for example, I am hoping something like that will never happen again. I give kudos to the scientists who made some Holocaust survivors robotic immortalized figures via recording their story while they were still alive, so we can continue to learn and experience. Kudos to books and movies too. I love old black and white movies. The reason, I am witnessing a bygone time of interaction in history. George Washington, born in 1732, died in 1799 at 67 years old. Served from 1789 to 1797. Father of our country, the first president, Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, President of Constitutional Convention, face carved on Mount Rushmore, an iconic symbol of America, portrayed on the dollar bill and quarter, owned 317 slaves, did not accept a salary for his military service. John Adams, born 1735, died July 4, 1826, at 90 years old. Served from 1797 to 1801. Father of the Navy. First Vice President. Second President. First President to live in the White House. Father of the Sixth President. Died on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Never owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson, born 1743, died July 4, 1826, at 83 years old. Served from 1801 to 1809. Third President. The father of the Declaration of Independence, authorized the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark Expedition. Face carved on Mount Rushmore, portrayed on $2 bill and nickel. Died on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. This president owned the most slaves at 600 plus. But the enslaved at Monticello, he encouraged marriage, and he would occasionally buy and sell slaves to keep families together. James Madison, born 1751, died 1836 at 85 years old. Served from 1809 to 1817. Fourth President, the father of the Constitution, President during the War of 1812, shortest president at 66 inches tall, portrayed on the $5,000 bill. James Monroe, born 1758, died 1831 at 73 years old, served from 1817 to 1825. Fifth President, known as the last of the Crooked Hats, signed the Missouri Compromise, forbidding slavery above the southern border of Missouri, implemented the Monroe Doctrine, closing the Americas to further colonization, died on the 55th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. John Quincy Adams, born 1767, died 1848 at 80 years old, served from 1825 to 1829. Sixth President, known as Old Man Eloquent, son of the second president, as Secretary of State, wrote the Monroe Doctrine. First president to be photographed in 1848. After presidency, served in Congress for 18 years. Served as co-counsel on the Amistad case, arguing that the African rebels had a right to freedom, never owned slaves. Andrew Jackson, born 1767, died 1845 at 78 years old. Served from 1829 to 1837. Seventh President, known as Old Hickory, war hero in the War of 1812. Signed Indian Removal Act that tragically forced migration of Native Americans. Founder of the Democratic Party, portrayed on the $20 bill. Martin Van Buren, born 1782, died 1862 at 79 years old. Served from 1837 to 1841. Eighth President, known as the Little Magician. William Henry Harrison, born 1773, died 1841. Ninth President, served from 1841 from March 4 to April 4, known as Old Tippecanoe. Whig President, died in office. John Tyler, born 1790, died 1862 at 71 years old. 10th President, served from 1841 to 1845, known as His Excellency, Whig President. James Knox Polk, born 1795, died 1849 at 53 years old. served from 1845 to 1849. 11th President, known as Young Hickory. Zachary Taylor, born 1784, died 1850 at 65 years old. Served from 1849 to 1850. 12th President, known as Old Rough and Ready, Whig President, died in office. Died from eating too many cherries. Millard Fillmore, born 1800, died 1874 at 74 years old. 13th President, served from 1850 to 1853. Known as the Accidental President, Whig President, Franklin Pierce, born 1804, died 1869 at 64 years old. 14th President, served from 1853 to 1857. Known as Young Hickory of Granite Hills, James Buchanan, born 1791, died 1868 at 77 years old. 15th President, served from 1857 to 1861. Known as the Sage of Wheatland, only president never to marry, freed his slaves. Abraham Lincoln, born 1809, died 1865 at 56 years old. 16th President, served from 1861 to 1865. Known as Honest Abe, the Great Emancipator. First Republican President. 6 weeks into first term, attack on Fort Sumter begins. Civil War, the war between the states. Issue the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves. Assassinated at start of second term. Portrayed on $5 bill and penny. Face carved on Mount Rushmore. Tallest president at 76 inches. Andrew Johnson, born 1808, died 1875 at 66 years old. 17th President, served from 1865 to 1869. Known as the father of the Homestead Act, no vice president. Ulysses S. Grant, born 1822, died 1885. The 18th President, served from 1869 to 1877. Known as Unconditional Surrender Grant, the hero of Appomattox. Civil War General, Rutherford Burchard Hayes, born 1822, died 1893 at 70 years old. 19th President, served from 1877 to 1881. Known as the Dark Horse President. James Abram Garfield, born 1831, died 1881 at 49 years old. 20th President, served from 1881 for 6.5 months. Known as the Preacher President. Assassinated. Chester Alan Arthur, born 1829, died 1886 at 57 years old. 21st President, served from 1881 to 1885. Known as the Gentleman Boss. Grover Cleveland, born 1837, died 1908 at 71 years old. 22nd and 24th President, served from 1885 to 1889 and 1893 to 1897. Known as the Veto President and his obstinacy, married his own daughter. Benjamin Harrison, born 1833, died 1901 at 67 years old. 23rd President, served from 1889 to 1893. Known as Young Tippecanoe and the Centennial President. William McKinley Jr., born 1843, died 1901 at 58 years old. 25th President, served from 1897 to 1901. Assassinated. Known as the Idol of Ohio, Theodore Roosevelt, born 1858, died 1919 at 60 years old. 26th President, served from 1901 to 1909. Known as Teddy the Rough Rider, youngest president at 42 years old. Doubled the number of national parks. Face carved on Mount Rushmore. Won 1906 Nobel Peace Prize for ending Russo-Japanese War. William Howard Taft, born 1857, Died 1930 at 72 years old. 27th President. Served from 1909 to 1913. Known as Big Bill. First Civil Governor of the Philippines. Served as Secretary of War under Theodore Roosevelt. Largest President at 6 feet 300 pounds. Established the federal income tax. After leaving office, served as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Woodrow Wilson, born 1856, died 1924 at 67 years old, 28th President. Served from 1913 to 1921. Known as a professor. Governor of New Jersey. President of Princeton University. Only president to earn a PhD. President during World War I, the Great War. 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. Won 1919 Nobel Peace Prize for founding the League of Nations. Warren Gamaliel Harding, born 1865, died 1923 at 57 years old. 29th President, served from 1921 to 1923. Known as President Hardly. Bought the Marion Star newspaper at age 19. U.S. Senator from Ohio. Won first presidential election where women could vote. First president to speak on the radio. Died in office in California, traveling back from first ever presidential visit to Alaska. Poisoned by his wife. Calvin Coolidge, born 1872, died 1933 at 61 years old. 30th President, served from 1923 to 1929. Known as Silent Cal, born on the 96th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Governor of Massachusetts, sworn in by a Justice of the Peace. His own father, Herbert Clark Hoover, born 1874, died 1964 at 90 years old. 31st President, served from 1929 to 1933. Known as the Grand Old Man and the Great Humanitarian. Mining engineer in Australia and China and world traveler. Self-made multimillionaire by age 40. Secretary of Commerce for Harding and Coolidge. Stock market crash of 1929 brought on the Great Depression in 1929. Chairman of Boys Clubs of America for 8 years. Refused a presidential salary. He donated his paycheck to charity. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, born 1882, died 1945 at 63 years old. 32nd President, served from 1933 to 1945. Known as FDR, the New Dealer. Fifth cousin to President Theodore Roosevelt. Paralyzed by polio at age 39. Governor of New York. President during the Great Depression and World War II. Created the Social Security system. Longest serving president at 12 years 1 month. Elected to 4 consecutive terms. Portrayed on Dime. Harry S. Truman, born 1884, died 1972 at 88 years old. 33rd President, served from 1945 to 1953. Known as the man from Independence. Had no middle name. He added the S. U.S. Senator from Missouri. The sign on Truman's desk read, "The buck stops here." Ordered the use of atomic bombs to end World War II. Ordered troops into Korean War. Dwight David Eisenhower, born 1890, died 1969 at 78 years old. 34th President, served from 1953 to 1961. Known as Ike, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces in World War II. President of Columbia University, Commander of NATO forces in Europe. First President to campaign on TV. First President for all 50 states. Established NASA. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, born 1917, died 1963 at 46 years old. 35th President, served from 1961 to 1963, known as JFK. First President born in the 20th century, U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Biography for Profiles in Courage. First Catholic and youngest elected president, established the Peace Corps. Assassinated in Dallas as he rode in a motorcade, portrayed on 50-cent coin. Refused his congressional salary from the House and Senate and his presidential salary, though he did keep his $50,000 expense account for public entertainment he must do as president. He donated his salary to charity. Lyndon Baines Johnson, born 1908, died 1973 at 64 years old. 36th President, served from 1963 to 1969. Known as LBJ, earned Silver Star in World War II. U.S. Senator from Texas, sworn in as president aboard Air Force One plane upon Kennedy's death. Oversaw the escalation of the Vietnam War. Signed the Civil Rights Act into law. Richard Milhouse Nixon, born 1913, died 1994 at 81 years old. 37th President, served from 1969 to 1974. Known as Tricky Dick, U.S. Senator from California. President at time of first man on the moon. Pulled U.S. troops out of Vietnam. Improved relations with China and the USSR. Faced impeachment after the Watergate scandal. First president to resign. Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr., born 1913, died 2006 at 93 years old. 38th President, served from 1974 to 1977. Known as Mr. Nice Guy, born Leslie Lynch King Jr., adopted by his stepfather, turned down National Football League contract, U.S. Representative from Michigan for 25 years, assumed presidency upon Nixon's resignation. Only president never elected as president or vice president. James Earl Carter Jr., born 1924, 39th President, served from 1977 to 1981. Ran family business, a peanut farm and warehouse, known as Jimmy, the Peanut President. Governor of Georgia, negotiated Camp David peace accord between Egypt and Israel, founded the Carter Center to promote global health, democracy, and human rights, won 2002 Nobel Peace Prize for advancing peace and human rights. Ronald Wilson Reagan, born 1911, died 2004 at 93 years old, 40th President, served from 1981 to 1989. Known as a great communicator, was at one point a radio sports announcer, actor, and spokesman. Actor in 53 films, president of the Screen Actors Guild, governor of California, oldest president in office, at 77 years and 11 months. Wounded in assassination attempt 69 days into presidency. Appointed first woman Sandra Day O'Connor to the Supreme Court. George Herbert Walker Bush, born 1924, died 2018 at 94 years old. 41st President, Oilman, served from 1989 to 1993. Known as 41, father of 43rd President, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Director of the CIA, President during the collapse of the Soviet Union, President during the First Gulf War. William Jefferson Clinton, born 1946, 42nd President, known as Bill the Comeback Kid, a saxophone player, considered career in music, won Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, Governor of Arkansas at age 32, appointed First Woman Madeleine Albright Secretary of State, impeached by Congress, acquitted by Senate, spouse Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton, served as Secretary of State under President Obama. George Walker Bush, born 1946, 43rd President, served from 2001 to 2009, known as W. 43, Oilman, son of 41st President, Managing President of Texas Rangers baseball team, Governor of Texas, won 2000 presidential race with closest election result in history, President during 9/11 attacks and the War on Terror, implemented the Patriot Act and the Bush Doctrine. Barack Hussein Obama II, born 1961, 44th President, served from 2009 to 2017, known as No Drama Obama, first African-American president, president of Harvard Law Review, U.S. Senator from Illinois, won audiobook Grammy Awards for his books Dreams from My Father and The Audacity of Hope, won 2009 Nobel Peace Prize for efforts to strengthen international diplomacy, signed the Affordable Care Act into law, forced more than 200 coal-fired plants to shut down over a 5-year period, cut funding to fight AIDS, having a devastating effect on Africa where most AIDS deaths occur. Went around Congress to give amnesty to some 800,000 younger illegal immigrants. Assault on the press. During Obama's administration, Washington government officials were afraid to talk to the press for anything the government classified as secret, for if they did, they were subject to investigation, including lie detector tests and scrutiny of their telephone and email records. National wealth plummeted during his administration. Blamed Bush and Congress for his woes. Some say he was the worst president, others the opposite. Obama family personal trips cost $85 million over 8 years. Donald John Trump, born 1946, 45th president, real estate developer, businessman, served 2017 to present. As to the creation of this video, known as the Donald, producer and host of hit TV show The Apprentice, first president to have never served in either the military or public office, oldest first-term president to take office at 70 years, 7 months, wealthiest president, worth more than all other presidents combined, president during worldwide COVID outbreak, gave up presidential salary. Hope you have liked and enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you feel some positive or negative content concerning presidents need to be voiced, please do so. All comments welcome, but please keep comments as what you consider factual and not emotional. Thank you.